I just reassured this 76-year-old gentleman about a new seborrheic keratosis on his chest, and because I had time, decided to do a quick skin survey. I spotted this 5mm depressed purplish patch on his left upper back, which the patient wasn't aware was there. What signs do you see, and what would you do? Note his sun-damaged skin with a dusting of small solar lentigos. I tried to pinch it up, but it seemed tethered to the deep epidermis. There's a pigment network pattern, a few milia flashing up on non-polarized light. Nothing else to recommend a seborrheic keratosis, such as a fissures or ridges pattern or any scale. It also seemed to have a deep epidermal component, whereas seborrheic keratoses are always located in the epidermis, so move freely over the dermis. What do you think of these dull purplish or bluish grey areas? There's diffused edges to them, but are these blue ovoid nests of a BCC? Or is it melanin in the dermis from a melanoma? There's no blood vessels to give us an extra clue. I thought about a dermatofibroma, and these can have a peripheral pigment network, but these are usually hard and raised papules, and this wasn't that. Also, I wasn't convinced this was a central white patch, and there were no shiny white structures seen in about 70% of dermatofibromas. I couldn't rule out a melanoma, so referred him on the cancer care pathway, and this was secondary care's response. It was dismissed as a dermatofibroma. Now, what would you do? 1. You could reassure your patient, and if it grows larger and turns out to be a melanoma, it's not your fault. Secondly, you could just monitor it. But I was intrigued. Is this really a dermatofibroma? I suggested to the patient we monitor it, and I would see him again in 3 months to review. But I would be willing to cut it out if he was very worried. He opted for me to cut it out. Here's the histology. It was a dermatofibroma. Remember, only around 30% of dermatofibromas are typical, and because they can have a pigment network, can be confused with a melanoma. In primary care, we are walking that tightrope of under-referring and missing an important diagnosis, or overreacting and risking unnecessary harm to our patient, as here. Let me know in the comment section what you would have done.